Hi, John. My name is Guy Dumas. Uh, I don't have a big plan this year for a backcountry trip in a boat. However, something might happen. Last year, I took a long walk. If I were going to make a backcountry trip, one that I would like to do is I would like to paddle the length of Lake Powell. That's a beautiful place. It's about 100 miles long. I don't know when I'm going to fit it in. It'll happen someday. Probably in a small and fun little boat. My wife and I travel in an RV. We've traveled to the 48 states with our uh, teenage kids. We always have boats with us. There's my little 10.5 foot canoe and her boats. That was in Disney Springs last night in Orlando. I just bought that little canoe and took it out on the lake here. Paddled it around a little bit. If you look there closely, you might see an alligator there on the bank. So about the size of my boat, it felt like anyway. Just a couple of sandhill cranes. But we're on the water quite a bit. Last weekend, that was out on the Gulf Coast, Gulf of Mexico. Here we are on the French Broad River. We often stay by the French Broad River in Asheville, North Carolina. We like to put our boats in right from the campground that we stay at, paddle up the river, and we'll go paddle up by the Biltmore House, and then you can paddle back down the river. You can pass right by town in Asheville, North Carolina, uh, which is nice. The river is really convenient. A lot of people are on the river in the summer times. Um, the Broad River, which is a different river, the English Broad River, goes into Columbia, South Carolina in a similar way. This is a rental boat that we were down there. This is the Pionkatonk River in Virginia, uh, down on the Florida Keys. I took a canoe course with Outward Bound in the 10,000 Islands in the Everglades. This is the ships at Jamestown, Virginia from a canoe. This little shot from Saluda River in South Carolina. This is us in Florida. Here's a cypress swamp in South Carolina. Here's a little lazy river action at the Devil's Tower out in Wyoming. Your boat would be beautiful there, wouldn't it? This is a lake in Utah near the Boulder Mountain. This is a Great Salt Lake in Utah. It's very hard to sink there. Chilly day in San Diego out on Mission Bay. This is at Elephant Butte Reservoir in New Mexico. Lake Mead in Nevada. This is Deer Creek Reservoir in Utah. Again, back down in San Diego, so it's sea level. And then up to 11,800 feet at Fish Lake. This is Lake Powell. And we took that little sailboat a lot of places. This is Colorado, Lake Pueblo. Here, Bianca and I are crossing Lake Mead. We took the kayaks in the middle of my walk, I mentioned, and I'm carrying fire with me. And we had to get across the Colorado somehow, and this seemed like the best option, so Bianca ferried the boats back. Now, on this trip, what I was doing is I was traveling, I was carrying fire, I was visiting wilderness therapy programs and conducting interviews with people who have worked in wilderness therapy in the field with students, just kind of gathering some history there. I started in southern Arizona and made a clockwise loop up into Utah, about 1,100 miles. Bianca's putting a boat on a car there after I crossed Utah Lake. Now, I want to put a canoe on a Beetle. This is my Beetle, and that's why I bought that small canoe. That's a 17-foot boat right there. So you can see a canoe will fit on a Beetle, and we'll see how that goes. This is the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia. We stopped by there on our way down to Florida this year. And it was just a beautiful day on the water. We had our boats and we got a rental canoe. And here we're paddling up a little canoe trail going out to shelter area, and there were gators there. I got a little bit of video footage of some gators, but it's not all that great. I just like being on the water, just being out paddling a boat. My daughter's, she's shooting the film here, and the vertical film courses for Instagram type stuff, and I get to paddle the canoe solo, which I love to do. So I think you can see that we're in a lot of places. We're in a lot of different bodies of water. We get around quite a bit. Um, I believe that if I was an ambassador for you, a lot of people would see your boat out in the real world and not just in social media. And that's part of the fun of the travel, is meeting people in different places and seeing what they're up to and talking about what we're up to and learning from one another. Uh, so that's a lot of fun. So let's talk about what your needs are, whether or not I might be able to be a benefit to you. I'm open to various types of boats. I'm interested in solo canoes, but also, I mean, double canoes work great for me. My wife loves the kayaks. I'm a little more preferential to the single blade paddle. I like the way a canoe moves. But this isn't all about my needs, and it would just be super fun to have a chance to play around with one or more of your boats. So please do get in touch with me. It'd be an honor for me to support your craft and enjoy your boats and go ahead and do what I would be doing anyway.